and happy to see everyone. Okay, if it's your first time to pass through this channel, please do yourself a favor and subscribe and ring the bell, because every time I'm live, you'll be notified immediately. All right, but if you're my regulars, I want to say shout out to you and I want to send you some love. Okay, let's have a chat. Nelson Chamisa's BYO launch literally was, electric. Thousands really came to celebrate with each other. And one thing that I don't understand is, guys, they all have blue color. And I'm like, what's up, y'all? Because I don't have any blue color yet, but I'm surprised. Munyaradzi, good to see you. Good to see you, man. I've got a brother called Munya, actually. So I love you so much, my brother. May God bless you. James is here. Emunkon is here. Mike Mabasa, good to see you. I'm so glad you guys are here. Nessa, shout out. Today, many were literally faced World War. I'm glad you have patience. Isabel, thank you guys for coming through. We're going to have a chat right now. Brian, I'm so glad you're here. Please, guys, don't forget to like the live. Jennifer, so that other people can join us. Please rush in your numbers and just like the live. Do me a favor, be a sister's keeper, okay? Good to see everybody. I'm so glad that you are here, guys. Coletta, Joseph, I'm so glad you guys are here. All right, yeah. An interesting day, honestly, interesting day. Like, I don't know why every day Twitter is just like gun blazing, literally, gun blazing. Let's have a look and see what's up. But the last time I checked, Chamisa was trending, Tendai Biti was trending. But so let's have a look and see. I don't know, guys, someone just literally like resigned, but still is trending. The dude just resigned. Nelson Chamisa resigned to cry out loud. Guys, please drop your location. I need to know where you are literally watching me and all of us from, because we are family. We always communicate, which is very important. Drop your location. I want to know where you guys are watching us from. All right. Like I said to you, Nelson Chamisa is trending. And Tendai Biti is trending. By the way, I don't know why Nelson Chamisa, Hwende is one, Hwende is trending. If you can see my headline, already show you what's going to be happening tonight. Looking at what happened in Bulawayo, and then we're also going to be looking at, what's going on between Tendai Biti and Hwende, because these two are such an interesting characters. Honestly, I didn't know they were this interesting. So this is what we have for you tonight. Icebreaker, please. So like I said to you, something really electric happened in Bulawayo. So let me just give you a bit of what do they call it in short? In short, yeah, I want you guys to take a listen to what happened in Bulawayo today. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hello, everybody. If you are also supporting Nelson Chamisa, just drop your blue hearts, please. All right, so they are saying we're going to be following him wherever he goes. Chamisa is our father. Guys, let me just tell you what excites me the most is just how we are so united at this point in time. It excites me. Like, we are very close, guys, close to the end. So you relax and chill. The momentum has to be heavier and heavier by day. We are very close. Now, this was an interesting clip that I saw today. As my chema muchiti, hey, pata inama structures, Manje this time Tawiyane party Wombe is Nazita. We have no name for this party. So for those that have been complaining about structures, you're in the wrong place, because this one here don't even have a name yet, but people are still following him. And an interesting thread really happened last night. I remember on Twitter. So this is what they were saying. Chero Chamisa akanze hana party Party iyo ya nenga asina ndo nenge iri party yangu yoyo. We stand with Chamisa, hashtag Nelson Chamisa. Even if they say it doesn't have a party, but that thing that you're calling that there's no party is what we are following. People are getting crazy, y'all. They're getting crazy for real. Honestly, they're getting crazy. Now, Willard Mazimbamoto, he said that Nelson Chamisa is a national brand. He's bigger than parties and politics. 23rd August 2023 confirmed that even those who voted, some PF MPs and councillors voted for Nelson Chamisa as well. As we launch the new, we must be cautious not to use the brand to settle factional fights, but to keep alive the dream. I agree with him. It's time to unite as a Zimbabwean, not because of politics, but we must unite. Chamisa keeps, insisting on unity every day. We must unite. We must just come to, guys. Let me tell you the reason why we kept on failing to remove evil in our country is because of division. And whenever there's division, the enemy rule. So we must make sure that we stand and unite by all means necessary. I'm asking you, my brothers and sisters, we must unite. Now we are dealing with Mr. Hwende, where he's saying, well, correct, the president said he will communicate his way forward. That's Hwende now. A lot of people who were imposing candidates, imposing mayors and deputy mayors, and lying, abusing the president's name, are now championing the so-called blue movement. Let's leave the president to rest and decide on the new step. Like he said, the CCC handle is now being operated by people who were fired by the president but refused to hand over the passwords. We will now start talking. Oh, really? Okay. We are listening. Mr. Hwende, we are listening. But like always, Hopo Chingono always have something to say. So why don't you say it without redos, Hwende? Your CCC handle is now in the hands of the CIO surrogates. The problem is Nelson Chamisa and all of you knew about this, but you all kept quiet, allowing citizens to be deceived. Even up to now, citizens are believing the lies they're being fed. Tell the people the truth. All right, this is what I'm going to say to you, because I don't like Makua name. I don't believe in all these. These guys are simply wasting our time. They're too old for this generation. This generation believe in A is A, B is B, C is C, and D is D. Nema reduce, nema gossip, every time knows what CIO. It's like Zimbabwe, there's no life without a CIO. We are sick and tired. We are really sick and tired of the CIO. You turn left to CIO. Please, the last time I checked, the CIO work for the state. What are they doing? We're not interested. Us, we are simply following somewhere, where we are going somewhere. You know what I mean? We're following someone and we are going somewhere. Chami says, who are we following? CIO, no CIO, we are not interested. We are tired of being robbed into gossip and men who are literally greedy, politicians who are greedy. We are not interested. Like I said to you last time, that Zimbabweans are not hungry for politicians. We are hungry for a leader. There's a difference. Politicians are toxic. Leaders understand that it's not about a position, but it's about being followed. You see, Nelson Chamisa is not in the camp, but still people have the connection of leadership because our destinies are linked to his destiny. We are sick, really, and tired of Nasi knows what is, Mangonak knows what is. Atshada, please. You can open it, you can have your own party. We are sick and tired. We really want direction, and the person we trust with our lives is Nelson Chamisa at the moment. So I think wherever he goes, we follow. It is what it is. And when I look at almost every politician right now, with all respect, with all due respect, when I look at politicians in Zimbabwe right now, no, majority of them don't even have the character to lead. So for that reason, sorry, we are looking for a leader. We are not looking for people who are in search of positions. Sorry, take your positions, but we are not going to follow you. So while you are busy playing around with tweets and be confusing the masses, our eyes are on the ball. Our eyes towards the mark of the high calling is to see our country be free and our people living the life that God has called them to live. That's the rest. The rest we not. Bye, brothers. Somewhere else. We want to keep our focus. Now, Patson Kanengoni, he said, whoever is not aware that Nelson Chamisa's next move, you have no idea what this blue movement is either. Just know that you might not be part of the new. This time, he keeps everyone guessing, including Hwende and the village. Are all guessing. Stop posting nonsense and behave. And I think Hwende is misleading people, because why I talk about these tweets? Most of these tweets are circulating, be it TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So this is why we always make sure that we discuss about these things, so at least we can neutralize the nonsense that's just off the streets, trying to confuse our people. The goal is very clear, is to free Zimbabweans from the tyranny, dictatorship, evil, wickedness, from thugs who have held us at ransom. That's the goal. All other things we are not interested. You know what I mean? The goal is very clear. Now, I think ZANU-PF, some of these people are in a panic mode, because remember, it's not all ZANU-PF who are still supporting what's going on here. You have seen the exchanges that are going on Twitter. You know, there's a lot of fight there. You know, another ZANU-PF guy will tweet this, and then the ZANU-PF page is coming and rebutting that. And they exchange fights all over the place. You know why? Because we are on our way to freedom. That's what happens. You know, when the enemy is replanting seeds of division, I'm a firm believer that if you spend your time trying to destroy other people, you're destroying yourself. Because while you're pointing one finger there, three are pointing at you. So if you think you're smart, you can ruin other people's lives. No. In return, you're ruining generations, your own generation. So if they think that they've been planting division, it does not work. It's a season that they have to actually taste the bitterness of their poison. That's how it works. So there's fights back and forth, you know. And now this is what they say. ZANU-PF Patro said, we would defeat Chamisa's new project. That's what they say. We would defeat Nelson Chamisa's new projects. And then Tonio, the owner of Techmark magazine, Techmark TV, he said, no, you must focus on defeating the legitimate position you birthed, that is the MDC and the new CCC, you know, control under Tshabangu. Don't focus on a man who has resigned. Chamisa resigned, but you want to defeat him. How are you going to defeat him? How are you going to defeat him? But now, because I'm moving into the man of the moment, you call him, you know, the man that loves to speak vocabulary. You know, if you want to hear a man who can speak vocabulary, just listen to Tendai Biti. You know, he's the one that I'm going to be talking about right now. I want to remind you what he said when they were having a meeting in Victoria Falls. That was him. It was a CEO meetings. It was him, Trevor Ngube, Najo Chanakira, and also Muchangwa. Tendai Biti spoke so eloquently. He was very strong and eloquent. But to my surprise, the shenanigans that's going on right now is unbelievable. The same man who spoke so powerful and really, really insisting on having leadership that is authentic and also fighting that there mustn't be toxicity in our politics is the same man today that is behaving a different way. Take a listen, please, to Mr. Tendai Biti speak.
First thing that we have to be honest about is the toxicity of our politics and how this country is paying a price because of the toxicity of that politics. We have had around 13 elections since 1980. And if you measure the period that we've had elections, we've had an average, in every 4 years we've had an election. And each one of those elections has been contested, been disputed, including the just ended harmonized election on the 23rd of August 2023. The report produced by the SADC Election Observer Mission on that election is the most damning condemnation of any election that you can see in recent times. And that puts a premium on our development. That puts a premium on our attractiveness as an investment destination. Most importantly, it underlines a discourse of discohesion, a discourse of disunity, a discourse of intolerance. The new parliament was only sworn in a week ago, but as already as I'm talking to you right now, that parliament has been weakened by unconstitutional recalls of over 15 or so members of parliament. So before we have begun, an important institution such as parliament has already been paralyzed. Local authority has already been paralyzed. So we're going to reproduce the lackadaisic status quo, the indifferent status quo, the conflict status quo of 2018 to 2023. We're going to reproduce it from 2023 to 2028 with the consequent arrested development of Zimbabwe, slow growth rates, 3% growth rates, 2% growth rates, negative growth rates, where we could be having a sustained growth rate of at least 9% per annum. Our GDP right now is around $18 billion. In 1980, Trevor, you are the economist, I'm not. In 1980, our GDP was a mere $7 billion. Zambia was $3 billion. Kenya was $7 billion. Fast track, 44 years after independence, Kenya is a $264 billion economy. Zimbabwe is an $18 billion economy. Zambia is now a $64 billion economy. What is the difference? The difference is leadership. What is the difference? The difference is our toxicity. So we need to confront the elephant in the living room, which is our ugly politics, our extractive politics, our vicious politics, our predatory politics. We need to address that.
Did you hear that? That's Tendai Biti. We need to address the toxicity in our politics. In the same breath, is the same Tendai Biti that you heard having an interview with NRTV, saying something completely different. He's crying for sanity. But in the same breath, he's not talking about how he still want to be part of the old structure that they had in MDC. So take a listen, please.
We received the news of Nelson Chamisa formally resigning from the Citizens Coalition for Change, quote unquote, saying he no longer has anything to do with the opposition political outfit. Mr. Biti, are you still a member of the Citizens Coalition for Change?
I'm a proud member of the Citizens Coalition for Change. I've read things in the newspaper, but I'm a proud member of the Citizens for Coalition for Change, and I'm going nowhere.
What was your reaction to the resignation of Nelson Chamisa? Were you informed of it prior to the announcement?
I've just read things in the newspapers, so I don't know what's happening. I don't know whether those letters are genuine or not. But speaking for myself, I'm Tendai Biti, the Vice-President of the Citizens for Coalition for Change, and I'm going nowhere.
You say you are the Vice-President of the CCC, yet he says there are no such positions in the organization. Maybe clear that up.
I don't know whom you are referring to. All I know is that there was a Congress in 2019, and that Congress has not been reversed by any processes. So I am a leader in the CCC and a proud leader in the CCC.
If you engaged Nelson Chamisa on what he says, on the later way he says he is no longer a member of the CCC.
I haven't, as I said, I've just read things in the newspaper. I don't know what's happening. No one has formally communicated to me, so I can't comment about that which is hearsay. I'm a lawyer, so I act on the basis of direct, hard, factum probandum, which is hard facts. So I don't know what has happened. I don't know what is happening. All I can do is to speak for myself, and speaking for myself, I am a member of the Citizens Coalition for Change.
And finally, Honorable Biti, reports of factionalism have been written time and time again in the CCC. What are your words as we close to the supporters of the CCC who are confused right now as to where and who they should follow?
I think we should remember that, we should remember Morgan Tsvangirai. What would he do now? What would he say now? And I know what he would say now. He would say, remain united. Fight on. Aluta continua until we have a free Zimbabwe. That's what Morgan Tsvangirai would say. And those are the words that I would give to the suffering masses of Zimbabwe. The struggle continues. Let's remain united. Let's move forward until we achieve democratic change in Zimbabwe.
Now, following the release of...
You heard him, as we must remain united. But what's going on currently looks like unity. The confusion from left, right, you can just hear the way they speak being on social media when they have their interviews, the drama that happened with Sengezo Tshabangu, and he was quiet. I remember when he sent out a statement, but don't forget there was also that audio where he was referring to Nelson Chamisa that anga chango pera ega. But now the question I'm going to ask is, apera ndiani Nelson Chamisa or Tendai Biti? Apera ndiani? Because I'm asking a question. If you are the vice president of a political party, like he's actually claiming that he is the vice president of Citizen Coalition for Change, my question I'm having is, why is he not leading the party? Because if the president, like now the president died in Namibia, then the vice president was now endorsed as the president before elections, isn't it? Why can't he lead the party? Why is there so much disarray? There's confusion everywhere. And why he is the vice president? So people have been pressurizing Hopo Chingono as a body. Remember, Hopo Chingono kept on saying, no, but it was supposed to be in parliament. You know, because, you know, like you heard him speaking. He speaks vocabulary that when he speaks, you know, you literally shake like, oh, yeah, we are. The big boys are here. So now he went after him this morning. That was Hopo Chingono. But, you know, he as much as he rebukes his body, he can't let go of Nelson Chamisa's name. So this is the tweet that he sent out today. He said this was a massive political blunder by Tendai Biti and everyone who made the same political pronouncements after Nelson Chamisa's departure. They should have asserted their right if they thought they had won when Nelson Chamisa was still there as CCC President, and not wait for him to quit the party to assert that right. By pronouncing that he is the vice president of CCC, Tendai Biti and everyone else who assumed their CCC positions based on Gweru 2019 after Chamisa left now have to account for Tshabangu's actions after Chamisa's departure, including the list of MPs sent to parliament, which includes Tshabangu himself. Now, because Tshabangu has blessed himself, now he's a senator. By keeping quiet, the natural assumption would be that they agree with that parliament list. If they don't agree with it, then they should have spoken out against it. They are now in charge of the party after all. So were they part of this list formulation? He's asking. Those are very, very important questions. I agree with him. He's asking Tendai Biti, that's what we're watching on. The same applies to everyone who has remained in Citizen Coalition for Change. Their silence about that list can only be rationally read as being part of it or being opportunistic by focusing on stomach politics. I pronounced the CCC as dead as a dodo before the elections because of how it was being run. But many were angry with me and many insulted me for saying that self-evident truth. Time always settles arguments. So it was and still is astonishing that it would want to be at the heart of that dead political carcass and also and associate himself with a political fraud like Tshabangu by not condemning his actions. At least even after Nelson Chamisa left and the parliamentary list was released. The list sent to parliament is a fraud and must be condemned because it was created through the use of crooked judiciary and a corrupt state, something that BT and his comrades say they are fighting against and have fought against all their lives. You heard him. He made it clear that he wants politics that are clean. That's Tendai Biti, but he says something and these actions that speaks otherwise. If I were Tendai Biti or his advisor, I would have advised him to take a strategic break from all this madness and let it play out before making his next political move. Wow. Okay. Right now, all the three CCCs, because there are now three factions, remember? The one for Tshabangu, the Tendai Biti one way is the vice president, and also you have the one that is being led by, there's a temporary leader now, but also where Proms Mukwananzi is officiating or is also a leader. So right now, all the three CCC factions are directly, indirectly captured by the regime. Wanting to associate with any one of them is aching for drinking from a poisoned well. At least one should renounce what is happening, like what David Cotter did, instead of keeping quiet. The original mistakes were made in formation and foundation of CCC. It became a part owned by one person and his mates. All right. The second mistake was not fixing the problem at the material time. This then gave way to the regime exploiting those mistakes. You would be foolish if you were ZANU-PF not to exploit your opponent's mistakes. The current mistake was made by Tendai Biti and others assuming positions based on Gweru 2019 when the organization is now dead with zero prospects post-2028. CCC is dead. Those that remain know that it will suffer the same fate as Monzora's MDC. Deputy Court had said that Tendai Biti is angry, but not part of the Tshabangu fraud. But Biti should have remembered that Mark Twain said, anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. A good temperament in politics will take you far. A short fuse will blow up in your face. Oh, wow. Okay, that one I agree. That's what Nelson Mandela said. I think these words could have been spoken by Job Scholar, who is literally Mr. Mandela light. You know, Job Scholar could have said, you know, drinking poison and expected the other person to be hurt. It's madness. That's what anger is. It's like you're drinking poison but expecting the other person to be hurt. That's madness. And I'm also going to say to you, anger is not, it's not a good way of living. Don't store anger, let it go. You can't drink poison and expect even the person that angered you to die. It doesn't work like that. But I want to ask you a question. Whenever people refer to Chamisa as an individual, every time I hear people say, no, this politics of following an individual, what do they mean by that? Because the last time I checked, there's always going to be a leader. You can hear ZANU-PF. I'm not saying we should worship Chamisa, but honestly, if you follow someone as your leader, how can you not talk about the person? If I can remember Obama in America, he was Obama is a leader, but people were not worshiping Obama. They were simply following the person they wanted to be led by. That's exactly where we are now with Nelson Chamisa. We want to be led by Nelson Chamisa. We never said that we are worshiping an individual, and we're still going to respect. If he chose any minister when he becomes the president, if he chose his own cabinet, we will respect the cabinet. And be in mind, Nelson Chamisa made it clear that he's going to work with everyone across the board, which includes ZANU-PF, maybe from Linda Masara, from Monzora as well. I'm just saying if they have the qualities to be ministers, not just, and he also mentioned that he was going to reduce his cabinet to 15 members, which I agree. I mean, with the chaos in the country, what do we need all these ministers, deputy minister, all these people who just taking money and cars and make things, but why they're doing absolutely nothing? If I can remember when Themba Mliswa said that majority of people in parliament don't care. They don't. That's why you don't see them saying anything. But what they do is they only come when they have to let their dues be endorsed, which means they've got their side hustles that they want to be endorsed. But also, guys, when I looked at the salary that they earn, I said to myself, I can only imagine if I'm earning $30 per month. Huh? Okay, I know they've got benefits, but $30. That's why I've said that day that it was, for me, honestly, I thought we need to do a bit of, critical thinking. If you have to be borrowed $40,000, after 5 years, you're being borrowed, $40,000 as a debt. But during that period, you were earning $30. What is that supposed to mean to you? What is that supposed to mean to you? Sometimes we don't think. We need to think. Critical thing is important. To most of the members of parliament and the leaders, they could have known that some of that money could have been their better salary. You know what I mean? Yeah, but you're being given as a debt. But also, again, knowing that you can't pay it back. Because if you're earning $30, how are you going to be paid $40,000 back? Because $30 can't even do nothing, absolutely nothing. It is sad. But at the end of the day, we are following Nelson Chamisa because this is a leader that we have chosen. I personally, let me not say we, let me speak, but I think there are so many people here who are also still following him. There's also other people out there, a lot. We can see all these meetings that are being done. People have changed their regalia because they believe in his leadership. You know what I mean? Like I said, in Zimbabwe, we don't need a politician. Those people who cut corners, we don't need them. We need a man or a woman who's there to lead the people somewhere. We need direction. People are just stuck. We need direction. Where are we going as a country is what we need to know. So, Mr. Hopo, I love your analysis and I love how you spoke to your friend. But at the end of the day, we are desperate for a leadership. We're desperate for a way. We really need to know where we are going. But here's the thing, moving on. Quite said, interesting, Sengezo Tshabangu is going to be kicked out. And I'm asking by who? I guess, but before I proceed, did we hear that Hopo Chimone is actually advising, Tendai Biti to also resign, or maybe to temporarily, just what Nelson Chamisa, remember, don't forget, Nelson Chamisa didn't really resign formally. And that is a fact on paper. He only wrote a tweet So now what Hopo is advising me, so no, you can maybe do like what Chamisa did, to just maybe, just recuse yourself for some, maybe a month or so. And while you're finding your soul, what is it that you really want? And then you can come back, making the right decision. Did you hear that? So you want him to be like Nelson Chamisa now, you must walk away. Copycats, matanga kasikukopa, copy. You have no ideas. You're always gonna look after who does what and we follow. So they copycats. So they want him to also follow and then come back later on, maybe while he made up his mind, what does he really want? So Nelson Tshabangu is going to be booted from what I'm seeing here. So the Standard reported that the self-styled CCC interim SG Tshabangu is now facing the X from the same opposition party that he snatched from its former leader, Nelson Chamisa, for allegedly single-handedly nominating senators after recalling those elected in August last year. So he's also facing, he's facing expulsion. He's going to be expelled from this party. Interesting days ahead, because remember, with all these, glory that he received, the hailing that he came through this man, the pride and arrogance of Sangezo. Are you telling me that all that is going to fall flat? And what about the parliament that accepted him as a leader, as a secretary general? What about the courts as well, where again he held, still as a secretary general? What are they going to do? Because I'm just trying to understand. More drama ahead. More drama ahead. We're just watching. But my brother Alinaka said the current struggle within the so-called opposition in Zimbabwe is about who will be gifted the money meant for opposition by Mnangagwa regime. Our struggles are different. Itai mega politics denze kupenga. I agree with him. Because it's all about the money. You know what I mean? It's about the money. And whoever takes the monies and the stuff, you've sold or struggle. And history will not forget. And history will judge. History will judge you. So let's see what happens, because I don't know, because Tshabangu is always gonna say no, but I have backup. I've won most of my my stuff that I took to the court. Most of all those cases that were taken to the court, Tshabangu held. So maybe he's adamant and also confident that he can still hail after all those court cases. We're just watching and we are following. It's gonna be very interesting. Okay, now I think Hwende, short on Hwende tried it, honestly. He tried it. He tried us. When I'm saying he tried it, I mean exactly that. You hear what he did. So short on Hwende, I've told you the past week, he has been, gallivanting, with the SADC individuals that he calls leaders, in SADC. And me, I'm thinking, maybe short on Hwende is kind of speaking on behalf of us. Like, I don't know what the hell he's doing there, but he's saying something different here. I'm excited. I'm like, you know what, guys? When you say Shorten Hwende is a traitor, I was like, yo, but someone say, I'm sorry that I didn't believe you, that Shorten Hwende is a traitor. But after this, I think I believe you, Do you know that he lost to immediately after elections? This was his tweet that he sends out, Shorten Hwende. He said, today in Kwazana East, we were moving around the constituency are removing posters as per promise and commitment to a clean Kwazana. We are also thanking the voters and explaining to them the need for Zimbabwe to have a fresh, free, and fair election. He also tagged Nelson Chamisa and he tagged Kwazana East. That was his constituency where he is a member, where he was elected as a member of parliament. But there were allegations in between that he was betraying the struggle. People were saying he was working with Tendai Biti and and also Jema Fome. You remember that? I cannot confirm or deny, but people kept on saying these people are working as bodies and try to topple Nelson Chamisa. Now they have the Citizen Coalition for Change. They can't even lead. They're flat. So who's the leader here? Nelson Chamisa is the leader. You can't move without him. He's the leader. Now, he had the nerve. Shorten Hwende on a Sunday while I'm minding my business and I saw my sister's countenance change. Let me tell you something that I want to tell you. The day that they announced the results. Okay. Remember I was live, yeah? I was live. I was wearing my red suit whopping. Chavis is he's gonna win. Like literally. I remember I pressed the button of live. There were about 1,000, more than 1,000 people came live because everyone was desperate to know what was going on in the country. Boom. And my sister's countenance immediately, she wanted to cry because she was sitting on top on the bed. She was sitting on the bed and she wanted to cry. when she heard those announcements from Mrs. Makanyara, you know, she was hurt. And today, we still have hope, y'all, because our hope is hanging on a thread. We're still expecting that maybe, you know, we're expecting SADC to, by the way, guys, I'm not going to, we expect that. And then Hwende has the nerve to send out this tweet this afternoon. He said, after our formal meeting with SADC Executive Secretary, I had a brief chat with him on the sidelines. Hear this. He was surprised and concerned that some citizens of SADC believes that SADC can reorder an election in a member state. So I'm calling my sister, I'm reading this tweet, and I heard that she was hurt. She was broken by the tweet. This is Hwende. He has the nerve to send such a message, knowing well how Zimbabweans are desperate. I'm asking myself, I said, do people have hearts? Like, do they even have conscience at all? Like, people have lost their conscience. They've lost, actually, they don't have the feelings anymore, actually, to think about how other people feel about their actions. Knowing well how desperate, by just me reading the tweet, it literally, like, I feel sick in my stomach. And that was my response. I said, I'm actually feeling sick in my stomach. That this man had the nerve. You are talking to the entire country and send a tweet of this nature. If you had a meeting with your bodies there at SADC, you didn't have the right to tell us. We will be so respectful if SADC on its own can write a letter and say we can't help. People are still finding other means to have a dialogue. And here you are to go in and, like, you know what? Yeah. People are insensitive. Definitely insensitive. And if you can hear Mr. Hwende, if you're here or if you're going to watch this, Mr. Hwende, stop being insensitive. The country is hurting. People are broken. Don't be insensitive. I may have means, but still I'm hurt by simply your tweet. I can only imagine those who are desperate for divine intervention and can actually read your tweet or can hear that that's what you've said, how that will crush their spirits. We are desperate for a peaceful Zimbabwe, and we are desperate for a direction. That was definitely insensitive for Hwende to say. If you can speak to him, please let him know that he was being insensitive. Like I said, something has to give, and there must be something wrong with our brothers and our sisters. They don't think before they speak. They don't think. And know what he did? He had the nerve to actually switch off his comments, because let me tell you, people are going to bastardize him. When I was going to, I can only imagine, because people are sick and mad and angry. You don't have to do that. Next time, think before you type. But I want to read this analysis, which I think, I don't know, when there is kind of meeting someone. Yeah, guys, SADC is a diplomatic wing. It's not, those are not the people that you can be listening to gossip on the street and you can use that as it's a final. And I've heard people say, no, SADC won't do anything. Listen, don't worry about the past. We're in 2024. This is not 1500s. I know what happened in the past. But if they were that bad, they were not going to give you such a report. They were not going to give you such a report. Things have changed. We always need counsel. Sometimes we need to outsource counsel in terms of people who can mediate a conversation. We all know that we need to have a dialogue to move forward. It's known, non-negotiable. But Peter Makote said, he did such a great analysis. He said Zimbabwe elections versus SADC, basic explanation of the situation. Nyaya SADC news, haisi ya Nelson Chamisa na ED, Emerson Mnangagwa, the President Emerson Mnangagwa. As other people might want the nation to believe, there is Zimbabwe Senyika on the best that Zimbabwe did not follow its own laws, SADC protocols and international standards on democratic election procedures. There is a deliberate move by some learned analysts to confuse the nation by suggesting that Chamisa's quitting of the CCC party has made it difficult for SADC to act, and that Chamisa himself no longer qualifies to approach SADC regarding the 2023 election. You heard the tweet that was sent out yesterday by Jonathan Moyo. I think that's what he's referring to. Again, another propaganda wing. No, the ball is not in SADC's courts against Zimbabwe as a member state, not against individuals. That's why I said, Mr. Hwende, we don't want gossip here. We want facts. We want diplomatic ways of communication, not street gossip. We're not going to take it. What is Zimbabwe? That's what his question. Zimbabwe is a sovereign state and has its own laws of governance. These laws are, however, meant to comply with SADC, AU, and UN treaties and standards on conducting democratic elections. Zimbabwe is bound by those treaties because she is a member of those organizations. Zimbabwe signed treaties, protocols that govern the conduct of democratic elections in member states, has SADC legal duty to act on non-compliance by a member state. A state has three arms: the executive, which is the cabinet, the legislature, which is the parliament, and the judiciary, the courts. Collectively, this is the state that failed on adhering SADC protocol. Ndiyo nyika yacho yakakonewa basa. Technically speaking, the non-compliance is not Mnangagwa's or Chamisa's fault. As far as the matter stands at the moment, it is neither ZANU-PF official or CCC's issue. Football analogy, just give an analogy of how to understand the concept. Kana ma floodlights agadzima mdiana mosne caps zichitamba FIFA Cup to qualify for African Champions League. Haisi mosha yezvi kwata izvi kuti mutambo hauna ku, you know when you're typing English in Shona sometimes, yeah, hauna ku ita hauna famba nzira iri right. So zifa online inongosungirwa kunzi mutambo ungatangwa futi since usina kuita meet mchi ma standards. Saka mutambo uchangotambo futi nezuva richatarwa nezifa chero rikava gore rinouya uchangotambwa chete. Hazvinene kuti Dynamos Caps complained or not regarding a replay. As kuti zifa have a duty to comply with their own CAF or FIFA regulations. In this case, SADC has to balance their books according to AU and UN protocols. Irorino Gore, Zimbabweans shall witness SADC in action regarding the 2030 Zimbabwe elections. Zimbabweans need to be patient and ignore all other tomfoolery by ZEC, Parliament and the courts. I can assure Zimbabweans that by August 2024, Zimbabwe would be accelerating on a new trajectory. And he also did, tag Matebuka, Hope watching on in Chofamba. And let me say this, if you listen to an interview that I played last night, for those who didn't watch it, please go in and do so. The live that we did last night when we were talking about the issue of that the president may refute, a negotiation with Chamisa. If you actually listen to the interview that the Americans had with NRTV, it was really talking about the issue of sanctions. And also heard about the EU as well. EU renewed Zimbabwean sanctions to 2025. Give it a year as well. Do you remember that even the woman that was being interviewed for are also still saying, we are here as a people. All we want is Zimbabwe to have a democratic, like a strong democracy, and also respecting rule of law, as well as having properly done elections. And I remember EU mentioning immediately after elections when they withdraw from funding ZEC. They mentioned that they didn't withdraw forever, but they can still inject funds for elections as long as they are well articulated reforms that will support a free, fair, and credible election. So I think what he's analyzing is really based on that information. And I think you have heard also as well, if I can remember correctly, that was Rejoice when he had a meeting with HSTV. You also mentioned the same. That definitely is going to be very hard even for the president to be, the chairperson for SADC, considering, this illegitimate that is hanging on his, on his back. So honestly, sometimes we need to be, to be wise and also diplomatic. And for me, I don't listen to gossip on the streets. I'm waiting for people to, a letter that will say SADC has failed us. Because I remember correctly, the day that there was a meeting, SADC meeting, remember they tried to have a meeting, online, which failed because of network. And then they later on had a meeting, which was, on a face-to-face meeting in Angola. That day, I remember this, and many people can confirm, when the president came in with his entourage by the, Robert Mugabe. I remember that. And Ruben Bar was trying to talk to him. He wasn't himself. Even the ministers that he heard were not themselves. They were not themselves. I remember there was Frederick Shava, there was Kazembe. I remember that very well. And that video is there. And, one day we were actually analyzing it. we all know, we may not have all the facts, but definitely something is happening in the background. This why Nelson Chamisa don't say much. And then I just can't wait for us to reach that moment where we can just settle and really pass this whole shenanigans, because we are so tired. We are tired of going back and forth, and a lot of wrong is happening as we speak. You know, the issue of lands, people are being evicted as we speak. It's heartbreaking. It's what, you know, the last time I checked, if you're, you know, the people that also build on wetlands, I understand that. And also even some of the people who also just hijack, you know, land that they were never, you know, be given in a proper way. I understand that. But guys, when we talk about the rural land, like, if I can, I mean, we all just grew up knowing that we munda wedu and mamono girls we munda wa, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about? And then you just see people saying, no, you guys, where you are right now, this land, you know, is illegal land. I can only imagine. Guys, people are bleeding as we speak. People are bleeding. It's heartbreaking to see people literally destroying their own homes that they've been staying for years. You remember a story of that man, we were staying at that house for 27 years. And he was saying, I invested almost more than $800,000 to build that home, drew the ball, and they're telling him that he must vacate that place. I think he was given a month or so. Someone was saying they were given 48 hours to actually leave. Guys, do you know what that means? Like, in 48 hours, you don't even have a place to stay. Like honestly, that's heartbreaking. But let's take a listen to some of the citizens speak.
Vaverekesa katori pano rekuvhota kurejista tikatonovhota kuinisa pati iyo iri kutonga ya mnangagwa manje sora nezuno tavhota nhasi tatomhanyisiwa toendepi onai vana vese vadika vada kuti dai vatotibatsira nezvimbe kuti tigare tichita mabasa edu hapana mbavhabha vanhu kutotsvaga zvinhu zvanenge vachitsvaka mumasango machidzoka achitengesesa mabhaya achitenga ita sei zvinoti taipa hameno titoendepi kana mune pekuti batsirawo napo ime hurumende vacho yatikavhotera inodiwa nemunhu wese ari pano kunyeba muiderei kanga vatirongerewo sevana vemuno kwete kuita tinge takashandisa pasipoti kubva hameno malaysia kuya muno tozodii tibatsirei vabereki ndimi munozvionero sezvaitika vabereki zvakati katori pano rekuvhota kurejista tikatonovhotawo kuinisa pati iyo iri kutonga yamunangagwa manje sora nezuno tavhota nhasi tatomhanyisiwa toendepi onai vana vese vadika vada kuti dai vatotibatsira nezvimbe kuti tigare tichita mabasa edu hapana mbavhabha vanhu kutotsvaga zvinhu zvanenge vachitsvaka mumasango machidzoka achitengesesa mabhaya achitenga ita sei zvinoti taipa hameno titoendepi kana mune pekuti batsirawo napo ime hurumende vacho yatikavhotera inodiwa nemunhu wese ari pano kunyeba muiderei kanga vatirongerewo sevana vemuno kwete kuita tinge takashandisa pasipoti kubva hameno malaysia kuya muno tozodii tibatsirei vabereki ndimi munozvionero.
Guys, this is heartbreaking. Can you hear the voice of this guy? I know men are very gentle by nature, and just hearing the voice is like that heartbreak. Like, you know, have you ever speak when you're heartbreaking and you cry? Like, guys, you know, if I destroy my home, I have nowhere to go. Wow. It's heartbreaking. Honestly, like I'm really becoming emotional. I'm sorry, y'all, because wow. Like, you don't have a place to go. I was praying today and I was like, God, I wish, like in the Zimbabwe that we are all like literally vying for, that we are praying for, that we are believing for. I think we need to have rules where if you want to take someone out, like in South Africa, you can't just take a person out of the place. You must have an alternative accommodation. You can't. It's illegal. You go to prison. You cannot remove even someone in your house that can stay for years, even if they don't pay the rent. You can't remove a person without an alternative. You must give them a place to stay if you want to remove them from your house. I'm sorry, we need to have laws that really speaks to that. You can't just remove, if you want to remove people, no problem, but at least have an alternative shelter for them. So that if they can stay there until you legalize them, whatever that you can do. Because at the end of the day, what are these lands going to do? But some people were actually fighting that their lands, they are being chased out because Chinese need to take the land. They China, and Torah land. Take a listen, please.
Nokuti ndinovhota sei ini ndisina pokugara ndovhotera hurumende ndisina pokugara hativote kuno hativote kana vasina kuona nezvemachina machina hatimboada kuno uyo ari kunzi ndemera auraya nyika ino hapasina kunzi UMP yasakaradzwa nemachina dai vatono ishamwari dzavo asi ushamwari hwekutora zvinhu zvomumwe uchiendesa kwako iwe uchisara usina ishamwari irudzidzo hurumende dai yapa ina ishamwari.
Wow. And this is actually an old person that is speaking. I can only imagine my father waking up and not having a place to stay. Sure. Can I ask you a question? What came on us as Zimbabweans? How did we get here? What really happened? That we can wake up and really, destroy homes for elders. What is it about us? What's happening? Like, I'm trying to understand. How do we even sleep at night? Knowing that elders, the last Zimbabwe I remember is when we see someone who's in need, we can always extend our hands. We would say, no, you don't have to go. We have gari panap. What got into us? Honestly, I just want to understand because I don't get it. That we all of a sudden lost feelings, emotions, conscience. We don't care. It's really, really heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. But all I'm saying, all I can do is to pray that God will intervene. Sure. It's sad. It's very sad. It's very sad. And a lot of people are really going to be victims of this. A lot, because I've heard so many. I mean, it's a lot of areas where these lands are saying, people are saying you build, but you didn't have a title deed. It's really about title deeds issue. But one thing that shocks me is, I've reminded you that even the Vice-President, that was Kosondino Chiwenga, I remember when they were campaigning in Bare, remember? He spoke about the issue of, giving people title deeds. Nelson Chamisa on the other end was also promised people title deeds. Also, do you also remember actually when there were documents that people were given and there were actually allegations that these, not allegations, but people were just saying they were title deeds. Do you remember that? Was it in Tafara Mavuku, if I can recall that? Do you remember that? People were given, they were saying title deeds. So what's happened with the rural issue? You know what? This one, I don't even want to think about it because this thing cannot end because I'm going to break down. So I'm trying to take my mind off it and just my conscience is actually I cannot even begin to fathom this is where we've got into. It's sad. And we've got young men and women who are roaming in town, maybe in Harare or whatever, like they're both, and they can see all these wrong things happen right in front of us, and they don't say anything. They don't care. You can pass and see people with no shelter, and that's okay with you. It's sad. It's really sad. All right, let's move to family life. But please, let's pray for each other. Let's pray for each other so that we can be out of this. Let's pray for one another. We all need prayers. All of us, we need it. We need prayers. Let's move to family life. This one is sensitive. So if you're is parental, there's no parental guidance because I think most people are mature people here. But if you're someone who's sensitive, please, you're more than welcome to exit. Except those that want to actually listen, because this is a very sensitive topic that I'm going to be touching on right now. But it is important because it has ruined our society. Ruined our society. I want you to take a listen. This is a traditional healer. She's having a conversation with one of my lady, my friend. It's an interview. It's a traditional healer. I'm a spiritual person from a Christianity point of view. Okay. So I'm more of a spiritual Christianity. She's a spiritual from a traditional point. I respect any form of spirituality. There are traditional healers who are doing it right, and there are also people practicing witchcraft. There's a difference. There are church prophets who are genuine. They're also fake prophets. There are also people in Buddha, also they're also fake Buddhists. They're also in a Muslim space, and they're also fake Muslims. So you must understand that in every religion or every point of spirituality, there's always people that are faking. But take a listen to this woman, please. Very sensitive stuff here.
You need to cleanse yourself once and then, now and then. Because now, suffer, this is why why are you suffering? It's because of sex. How long did that sex take? 5 minutes.
Your kids.
You know, it was quick. It was a quickie in a club. No, we had a quickie in a club. It didn't mean anything. It destroyed you. You know, so people like pastors would preach sex before marriage is the thing. Don't do it. Stay away from it. Because they know what impact does sex have. I'm not going to talk bad of pastors at times. They're preaching that to the kids. Do not do sex before marriage, because now they know what are you going to be collecting and all those things. So in their mind, they think that when you guys are now married, then you can have sex. Because now if you are a loyal person, when you are married, you're not going to go cheat.
Yeah, you're
so
gonna
that
only
is
have sex
why
with your wife.
they say have sex after marriage. Because they think you're going to have sex with your wife only. Can't you know other people are stupid to do that? They would get married to you, go sleep with somebody else, come back and bring that to you. But they stood in front of a pastor and they said they love you, they will protect you, they will be with you through thick and thin.
So what would you say to a woman out there right now that is very proud of the fact that her husband cheats and she's gonna stay because she's for marriage?
You are disturbing your own progress.
And your kids.
You are disturbing your kids' progress. You can say, I'm working, I'm earning 50K. I'm okay. I don't care if you sleep. There's nothing bad with me. Maybe you're supposed to earn 150K. Maybe you're not where you think you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where you are now. It's not where you're supposed to be. Like you, for an example, you're running a podcast, you're running this and that. Maybe God has that destiny which you are going to own a production company one day. A big one that shoots soapies on TV and things like that. So when you are just
boxing yourself,
I'm doing good, I'm fine. Only to find if this man can go out of your life and you get proper cleanse or pray in a way, we are dead. What your life goes. I was in a relationship before I got married, but my life was just fucked up. Nothing was adding up. You try, you do, I was taking a one-room house. Okay, there's nothing wrong with staying in a one-room house. I'm just talking about my journey.
I think you mean what? A one-room house or a one?
A one-room, a room.
Yeah. So
I was just staying in a room where you do everything, you cook, you do everything here.
In the room, a back room.
Exactly. So when I then moved away from that kind of a relationship, and then I started to my life change, and then I got introduced. The calling was still there, but at the time, it was hard for me to accept it. I think that was the blockage also. So that why don't you go and do your and accept your calling, and then better your life, things like that. So we need to understand the power of the impact that sex has in our lives.
So I know that we've got people right now, or someone out there maybe that is looking and watching this episode, and maybe for whatever reason they don't want to leave their partner, which to each their own. But then the partner cheats, and furthermore, when they are pregnant, their partners cheat even more. You understand? Obviously, bringing in those spiritual ties to the child actively at that time. What advice would you give a man that sleeps around, and especially when his wife is pregnant?
What advice can I give them? Stop it. It won't be an advice.
Yeah.
Because now you are being selfish. Now you are putting your life, your daughter or your child that is about to be given birth to, and your wife as well. So if you don't care about your wife, it's fine. What about your child? That you go around taking things from and things like that. Because now I would always say, when I have conversations with my husband, we can have arguments or fights about anything. Let it not be about cheating.
Yeah.
If you cheat, I go. That one we're not discussing it. That's one of the rules in our marriages. We don't sit and discuss that. We can sit and discuss certain things because we know that I know the spiritual effect that can have in me if I'm sitting and you're not doing anything. So that is why I always preach to women. Learn to.
All right. So what she's talking about here is simply, I've always been a preacher, and I'm very, honest in this area. And if I ever teach young people, women or men, I'm going to tell you straight. We are living in very, very difficult times and very dark times. The world is no longer the same. Things have changed. There is an enemy for your soul, an enemy for your destiny. If you're a person who believes in sleeping with every woman or every man you meet on the street, you are putting your life in danger. Not in danger in any way that you guys think, because every time you say, no, but I can protect myself from sexual transmitted diseases, or I can protect myself from, pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy. Fair play. But the devil is a master illusionist. He's smarter than what you think. Yes, he knows that. No, don't forget we are spiritual beings. We are not what you see right now. You're looking at me here. You're seeing the body. But I'm touching your lives wherever you are from a spiritual point. There's exchange of energy as I'm speaking to you. Each and every man or woman you meet on the street, they have their own things. They've met people in their own lives. They've got different energies in them. And the moment you sleep with any woman or man on the street that you meet, I don't care what you're thinking, if you're not married to them, there's an exchange of destiny. So if that person is a dandiad in their life, or there's some spirits in their family, you're collecting them. And nobody's telling you the truth. They just say, no, what? I know that's how we vibe. It's 2024, we're just gonna vibe. You know what I mean? No, you're not just vibing. You are selling your destiny to people on the street that you won't even remember their names. It's worse for those you've got women that are pregnant. You are taking satanic forces from the streets and you bring it to destroy your own family and your children, even unborn children. These are the days that we are living in. I'm telling you from a spiritual point as a Christian, and she's telling you from a Sangoma point as whatever she believes in. But she still tell you the danger of sexual immorality. I know, these days you can see drama that goes down on social media. Some people are being caught. I saw a woman who was beaten up lately. She was caught with someone's husband. Because we have tend to be a community that doesn't care. There's no that respect of family, respect of people. That there's your brother, there's your sister. There's no, that is gone. You can do whatever you want with whoever you want, whenever you want. You wonder why things are falling apart. And there are men that were called for higher purpose. Some men were called for greatness. Today you could be a billionaire today. But you know what? You just met one woman who drilled your destiny. And that has stopped. And you get to ask yourself for forgiveness and change your character. Nothing will work. This is why I always bring the family life thing and say it, and I'm trying to help and say, you may not listen to me. You can say, oh, she's a single 40-something-year-old. What does she know? Okay, fair play. Carry on. But there will be consequences. That's why things are falling apart. Even in Zimbabwe as we speak, you remember the story of Susan Mutami? When she naked all these men, the big fishes, that whole cabinet was dealing with one woman. Such an embarrassment. You wonder why the country is falling apart. Yes, that's how it works. When people no longer have respect for self, they will destroy everything around them. So what I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, if you are married, respect your marriages. Be it a woman and be it a man. There's an enemy that is after your destiny and after your children. And he will never rest. You can meet one woman and it will affect your children, even when they're at school. And when they get in the house, because it's you taking the energy from where you're coming from, going back to that house with the very same energy of people on the street. And then you wonder why things are going haywire. There's fight all the time in your marriage, but you have never been fighting. No, you think it's just cheating. It's not just cheating. It's selling your destiny to strangers. Strangers on the street. People who benefit you absolutely nothing. Sometimes it takes discipline and have boundaries. If you want to succeed in life, if you want peace, it will take a lot of discipline and having boundaries. That's all that will save you in this era that we are living. Even if you're a single woman or single man, respect yourself. Not everybody you see is human on the street in this era. Some are not human. They're agents from the pit of hell. Some are literally, and you call them not manjus, and that's what you call them, yes. They are marine spirits. And then you see them with all the beauty. Oh, she's beautiful. I can get wherever I want, anytime I want to. Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. I always meet my brothers whenever I move around. Maybe I'm going to the mall or something. I can hear when I meet my brothers, my Zimbabwean brothers. They're speaking Shona, remember? And so, she's gonna change. Oh, what do you mean? Yeah, pick that one from the club. Yeah, I'm like, brother, brother, stop selling your destiny. That's why things are falling apart. It's time we have boundaries and respect for ourselves. I just hope I've been a blessing to you tonight. And I just want to ask you for one thing. Let's pray for each other because we need the prayers. Like in these difficult times, we need prayers. Pray for each other. You know what I mean? And pray for the leaders as well. Because if we truly want good leadership, we have to send out prayers for them and ask God to help them to lead us properly. May God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. Thank you very much for coming through. I love you so much and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.